Portland with a defunded police department, what does that look like? It looks like an increase in violence, an increase in shootings, an increase in crime, inability to be able to respond to those crimes in a timely manner. It looks like citizens not being safe, businesses not being safe, neighborhoods being compromised and no community policing. 7 years ago, when we responded to a call, it took about 2.5 minutes. Today, it's over 8 minutes. We have calls holding that we never even respond to. We have citizens that wait hours and hours and hours in frustration because the police cannot respond. Our police force is dwindling to catastrophic levels, and in 5 years or 10 years from now, if we continue to be defunded, there will be no police force, there will be no safety on the streets, there will be shootings, there will be violence, and no one to respond. So this is what I mean by defunding. When you defund the police and you cut positions, there is nobody to come down here to, number one, assist the businesses in the help that they need to be able to open their businesses and run their businesses. As you can see, businesses are boarded up. And our elected officials will tell people that they have built more affordable housing and have more people off the streets than ever. You see more people out here, you see more tents out here. And a lot of the reason is because there's nobody to help patrol out here because of the rioting, and resources for the police and other resources have gone away or not been able to keep up with everybody. So you have people here living on the streets who have no resources to go to. And you see, again, buildings boarded up from damage that happened during the protest, and they just haven't opened back up. All our precincts are boarded up like this. How is this engaging to the community? How is this attractive to the community to come in and talk to police and interface with police officers, have neighborhood association meeting here, community meetings here with police officers to be able to sit down with the community, talk about the issues that the community see, how they want to be policed, and talk about reform, talk about the evolution of policing in a way that our communities want them to be. How can that happen when we're having nightly rioting that burns this building with police officers inside as well as civilians inside? We can't have that. About a month ago, 2 elderly ladies were accosted and harassed and threatened here. One woman had her walker taken away from her while she was trying to put out a fire in a garbage can. Another woman had paint thrown on her during that interaction. This is what I mean by the nightly rioting, the nightly chaos that has gone on for almost 100 nights here in the city of Portland without our city leaders condemning that violence unilaterally. This is the police union building. Our building has been attempted to be set on fire several times. As you can see, our awning was burned, which is about 30 feet from the first house in this residential neighborhood. This is what I'm talking about when I say about community policing. These neighbors come down here quite often and they talk to me and they thank us for being here and they support us. They've painted our building at times when there's words on the building that we don't want kids to see, we don't want young people to see, and actually nobody should have to look at. It's not just that it's a building in a police union building or a police precinct. These buildings are in residential neighborhoods where people live at, where people want to raise their families at, where people want to have peace and tranquility, and where their houses are their sanctuary, their homes and neighborhoods are their sanctuary. These sanctuaries are being invaded by rioters who park in front of their houses, park in front of their driveways. They tell them this is our neighborhood now, we own this neighborhood now. If there's going to be reform, if there's going to be evolution in policing in our communities, we have to start funding training. Training so that your input can be implemented in our policies. Training so that when we respond to calls for service, we communicate with you, we help you, and we make sure that when we leave that call, you are better than you were before we got there. We need to be able to talk about reform, but how can we have reform when people are talking about defunding the police? Our city council has defunded the police. We can't have reform and defund. You have to invest in those reforms. You have to invest in the evolution of policing, and you have to do that for the community, to keep the community safe, and also to have the communities policed the way they want to be policed. Right now, our response time is so slow that lives are in danger. Every minute, every second counts when it comes to a life, when it comes to somebody that's laying in the street bleeding, when it comes to a baby that's choking, when it comes to a mother who's giving birth to a baby. All those things are important. Our response times are important. Because we are catastrophically short-staffed, because we are losing more sworn bodies with the defunding of our police bureau, that is in jeopardy. You're in jeopardy. Our communities are in jeopardy. Right now, as I speak, businesses are leaving the city of Portland. They see the writing on the wall when you defund the police. Businesses are closing their doors forever and going to other cities where they feel safer, where they feel like they can run their businesses and their livelihoods, and they can employ workers that they can protect and keep safe. When you defund the police, you defund our ability to be able to respond to calls for service. Response to business owners, response to immigrants who are business owners, as well as traditional Portland businesses. We cannot respond to those. We need you to sign that petition to keep Portland safe, to keep jobs safe, to keep people's livelihoods safe. I get hundreds of phone calls emails, text messages every month. And all of them are saying how they support the police, how they don't want us to be defunded, how they want us to be able to do some of the things that we used to do, to be proactive in our communities, to be proactive in solving crimes, to be proactive in taking care of our victims. We can't do that when we're defunded. We need you to sign our petition to protect yourself, to protect Portland, and to keep us strong.